Hey, let's keep this rolling underneath our guest. I'm going to try to control myself and just sit here and write notes. I'm going to shut up for 10 minutes, Peter Joseph, creator of Zeitgeist, and you just run with what you're really saying overall, trying to encapsulate it all, and then I'll come in with some of my primitive musings here. My feeble mind will try to grasp it. But again, I want to say overall, I think your film's healthy and thought-provoking. I think these discussions are important, and people shouldn't allow institutionalized religion or anything to shudder their intellect from trying to grasp the whole width, breadth, and depth of this multifaceted, multivariate universe that we swim in. So, creator of Zeitgeist, you go ahead. You got the floor.
All right. Well, the first thing we need to discuss is the monetary system itself and the system that is underlying it, or the belief system that is perpetuated by this structure. The greatest failure of our society for thousands and thousands of years is to not address the root causes of human behavior. And the monetary system has created one of the worst behavioral complexes that society has ever seen. It is compounding age-old instincts which have very little relevance to progress at all, including things like competition. If I was to ever call it an instinct, I'd say it's a natural culmination due to environment. If you're put it into an environment of scarcity where there's no work, no jobs, you're going to be forced to steal. Your aberrant behavior is a creation. It's not inbred whatsoever, and I can defend that on multiple levels, but I'm going to move on to talk about the system itself, the monetary system. It doesn't matter if it's free enterprise. It doesn't matter if it's communistic or capitalistic or socialist. These are loaded terms based on basically outmoded ideologies that are no longer relevant. What we have is a system of competition that's inherently based on the assumption that human beings must fight with each other in order to survive. That's one. The second point is that human beings have to have incentives in order to be motivated to do something. And these are two extremely dangerous and ill-gotten perceptions of human behavior. The first mode, to the effect that human beings need to have incentive, I'll go to that one first, is human beings' motivation can come from many different places. When you're a child, you have all sorts of interests that you pursue. You have all sorts of creativities that you find fascinating. You don't know what money is. You don't need incentive to do something. Einstein and Galileo, all of these great men that contributed, they didn't need money as incentive to do something. This is something they did on their own accord. Unfortunately, the brainwashing of society has forced people into a disposition where they want to be rewarded for what they do, and that means they want monetary compensation. No one will do anything in society without reward, and that includes solving social problems. If you can't make money off of solving a social problem in the system, it won't be done. And that is a very, very sad state of affairs. The first mention that I made, where humans have to fight to compete for labor and income, the scarcity that exists in the system, this is created by the monetary system, not only through the fractional reserve system, but in the very structure itself. You can't have a society and expect progress in civil arrangements, ethics, decency, whatever you want to call it, morality, in a system where everyone is gaining off of everyone else through differential advantage. This can't work, it doesn't work, and it's never going to work. This is why the world is what it is today, almost exclusively based on this competitive notion that is compounded and perpetuated by the monetary system. And this is the greatest failure that people don't understand. This is why I argue against it. I'm not saying that the Venus Project, and they're the first to admit this as well, is the end-all. There's no utopia. But they recognize this core element that is corrupting human behavior, so we have to move out of this system. One of the things that people don't realize about the monetary system, which is very important, I think you should think about this too, at least in this fabled free enterprise system specifically, is that it always leads to corruption. We say that the free enterprise system is, it could be great, it could be pure. You could have a perfect free enterprise system and it would work. Well, there's no such thing as that, because it automatically leads to corruption. It automatically leads to oligopoly, monopoly. It automatically leads to aberrant behavior and power consolidation, because that's the basis of it. That is the guiding principle, differential advantage. In order for society to progress, you have to eliminate this differential advantage and all the social stratification that occurs because of it, all the materialism. We have an advertising system that sits there and tells us that our value is based on what we own, and how an artistic representation is our creativity is what we own. Who we are, our identities are what we own. And this is a colossal and tremendous distortion that needs to be overcome. So the basis of this argument is that we have to have a new system that gets rid of these tendencies. This thing called the New World Order that people talk about all the time, and I actually would like you to come back on the air and answer a question for me, and that is, what is the New World Order as you define it, Alex?
What is the New World Order as I define it?
What is it, in a concise definition? Tell me if you were to explain this to someone who never even heard of such a thing in a real concise manner, what is the New World Order?
It is a hereditary clan that rules through the fraudulent fractional reserve monetary banking scam that operates through intelligence systems and shadow governments.
And their goal is what?
Their goal is hyper-dominance and to control the past, the present, and the future, to set up a worldwide police state by manipulating people's primitive fears with manufactured terror threats, biological threats, chemical threats. Their end game is to exterminate, most of them now say 99% of the population. The public documents say 80%, and to create then a machine utopia where the elite and their progeny go to the stars. It is a worldwide eugenics cult that is in control of most of the resources on the planet and is eradicating the family and the free market. And then, of course, demonizing the free market by claiming this corrupt system they have is a free market, and are now in the final phases of their worldwide consolidation, their victory, which people are calling a collapse or failure.
And what is the path you think everyone should take to stop this New World Order?
The path is multifaceted. We have to take control of our local political units first. We have to stop the electronic voting machine fraud system. To do that, we have to discredit the system, discredit the corrupt government that all the parties have been bought and paid for. We've entered a very deep, sector of the corruption. On the graph, one of the deepest points in the trough.
Okay, well, what about the people, though? What about these people that are the ones that are perpetuating this? What is your solution for these people? What do we do with these people, so to speak? I mean, what is your
I don't like bloody French-type revolutions, which then turn into something almost even worse. I think they need to be identified, exposed, and then they need to be tried by juries of their peers. They need to be given fair trials and sent to prison. And then their assets need to be nationalized to pay off all the fiat debts they have created. We need to have a population where we don't restrict Madison Avenue telling us we're inadequate so they can sell us products. We need to become conscious of these motivations and decide with the discernment what is a good advertisement, what is a bad advertisement. In your film you talk about, or some of your experts talk about, how we can't, basically in a free market or in a system of selling a vase or selling a car or selling a house or, getting our kidney taken out, we can't trust anyone. Well, no, we need to learn to investigate and go to references. And, that's why within the past we had brand names, a sewing machine that was known to last longer and be better. That way, if this is not free market, slave goods coming in from China that fall apart in 5 minutes. And so I disagree with that fundamentally. And there's just so much I disagree. Well, let me stop you. I disagree so much fundamentally, with saying we just can't trust the free market and products and goods because people have a reason to lie to you, to sell you crap because somebody might have something better, and then that stops people from progressing, when it is the limited free market, though invaded and corrupted, monopolies through government help, that have been set up, that we do have societal development, technological development, because people do want gain by their inventions, and they do want the prestige, and it has been our competitive Renaissance free market, the yeoman farmer becoming a tinkerer, becoming an engineer, turning loose the native intelligence of the commoners that has created all the amazing things we see around us, but that's the byproduct of making us decadent and selfish in Madison Avenue through brainwashing to secure the elite as they try to come in with a counter-revolution to take over the Renaissance that has taken place. And so they have damaged and programmed the majority of the public. And so we need to, at a cellular level, those of us that are aware, try to wake up our friends, family, neighbors, communities, and at a cellular level, one cell at a time, heal the system with an exponential growth curve towards doing that. Okay, let's step back to my original question, which was about the New World Order.
So basically,
I told you what they are. They're hereditary kings who learned how to go underground.
I'm commenting on this. This is why I wanted to ask the question. Basically,
Well, I thought you were posing it again. You said I go back to my original question.
No. I just want to go back and address it because you've gone on a nice tangent, which I appreciate, but you've moved away from what my original response was going to be.
Well, it's a complex world, takes complex solutions. I'm giving you actually analyzed information, things that have been thought out.
Of course. Well, let's
not general ideas.
Let me comment, if you don't mind. Basically, your assumption then on the New World Order is that you have to have the public to wake up to this elite group that are trying to dominate things, and then you have to prosecute them and put them in jail and take them out, and that will be the resolution as you basically.
That will not be the total resolution, but yes, we have just like the Nazis, they had to be taken out, or finally the communist Chinese said Mao and his wife are nuts, killing everybody because they made a deal with these eugenicists in Europe. We got to arrest them. We got to arrest his wife.